Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer German. I'm a NASA JPL Solar System Ambassador, and today I'm here to do Train Like an Astronaut at Home with you all. This is session number 1. And I actually just said all the stuff that was on this slide. Introduction and setup, that's what we're dealing with today. So, Train Like an Astronaut at Home is brought to you by Virtual Space Camp, which is a website that we Solar System Ambassadors are launching next Monday, or if you're watching a recording of this, it might already be live, and made necessary by COVID-19. Just wanted to put that in there. That's why all this happened, but we're very happy it's happened. Okay, a few things to get right now for use during this presentation. Paper to write on, something to write with. Also, please put on a pair of socks. Preferably a pair of socks if you've been wearing them for a few days, that's the best. If there are socks from yesterday you put in your laundry, go grab them and put them on. But ideally, the socks you are going to wear for this session are socks that you don't care about, because we are going to use one of them in a science experiment. So, just so you know. A tape measure, also. We're going to be measuring something later. A ruler's not going to be long enough. Please get an actual tape measure. Children, if you are watching, you may ask your adult to get these things for you and you can continue watching. Or if any of you want, whether you're a child or adult or teen, and you have a mobile device, just take your mobile device with you while I go on to the introduction here, or your laptop with you, or you can walk away if you need to. I'm going to do the introduction. It'll be a few minutes of talking, so you'll have time, hopefully, to gather all these things. I, of course, would like you to listen to introduction, but whatever your situation is. Okay, so we are going to be doing what's called Mission X, Train Like an Astronaut. This is something that NASA set up in 2011 and ran for 8 years, 2011 to 2018. And then the ESA, the European Space Agency, picked it up in 2018 and has been running it for these 3 years. They are currently running it right now also, but due to COVID-19 and the stay-at-home orders and the lockdowns, they have been running into problems. So I have tried to take both Mission X, Train Like an Astronaut from NASA, and Mission X from the ESA, and translate it into something that can be done at home. You know, there are a lot of times when you're training, at least when I used to, back in 2012, I was trying to train like an astronaut. I used a pool because a pool is used a lot by astronauts who are training to go into space. But I would go to the Y. The Y is closed. The gyms are closed. I'm assuming, like me, most of you out there don't have a pool at home. And even if you do, it's probably not deep enough for astronaut training. And even if it is, may not be the season that your pool's even open. But anyways, the point of what I'm trying to do is to make this Train Like an Astronaut program something that can be done at home with things we already have at home. You will also see these 3 characters. I think I'll use that word. NASA used Astro Charlie as their mascot, and then the ESA used Luna and Leo. So you'll see them as well as those 2 icons from the previous slide throughout this week as I do Train Like an Astronaut at Home, Mission X. Mission X covers 3 topics that are very important for astronauts. Exercise. Astronauts need to be in good physical condition. Nutrition, very important, both here on Earth and in outer space. And science. Every astronaut is also a scientist. So these 3 topics we're going to cover throughout this week. Exercise we'll do every day. Science we might do every day in one way or another. But each one of these 3 topics I will give also their own day specifically just for them. So today, this one is our introduction and setup. Tomorrow we're going to focus on exercise. The day after that we will focus on nutrition. There will be another exercise day and a science day in there also. Okay, now I am going to try and run Train at Home Like an Astronaut at 3 levels simultaneously. That means at the same time. So I'm going to be talking to younger children and to older children and to teens and adults. I'm going to give different options. There'll be different options throughout the sessions for each of those 3 levels, as well as just in general. And if you need to at home, you can do your own variations. Clearly, I've made changes to the original programming from NASA and ESA for our current situation. Variations are absolutely allowed. Do what you need to do. Also, as a reminder, if you're watching this later and not live, you can pause the video if you need to. If you need more time than I'm giving you in the video, if you need to take a break for whatever reason, pause the video, even go back, find something you missed, skip forward, however you want to deal with it. Okay, let me check something real quick here because last time I tried this session, it didn't record. So I'm just going to make sure it's recording. Looks good. Okay, let's get started. I'm excited. Now, first is a mission journal. So for younger children, this is optional. You do not have to do this. For older children, it is highly recommended that you have a mission journal. But again, it's optional. You don't have to do it. Teens and adults, a mission journal is expected. I expect you, as we go along in every session, to have your mission journal and to be recording in it. Now, mission journal can be many different things. If you are lucky enough to have a store-bought journal or diary, you can just pick that up and use it. Loose leaf notebooks are another good option. Make sure there's paper inside. Or even just spiral notebooks. So we've got these. My daughter has already told me this will be her mission journal because it's got the cool outer space design on it. So I'm going to put this over here for her. College notebooks. It's all good. If you don't have any of those, but you might have an artist in your house, sketch pads work as well also. The paper does not have to be lined to be a mission journal. It just needs to be paper that you can write on or color on. My daughter also asked, what about very small journals and diaries? How about this? Can we use that for a mission journal? The answer is yes. It's just you're going to be using more pages than the rest of us, but it will totally work. If you don't have anything like that, it's okay. Any paper, lined paper, blank paper. I took this paper out of my printer. If you have a printer at home, use the paper from your printer. It's all good. Even construction paper, very colorful, helps you get more creative. I would say one word of caution though, that if you can, white paper is better than colored paper because there may be times when you need to trace something and it's a lot harder to see through construction paper and colored paper than it is white paper. So I am going to create my own mission journal. I would like you to also, if you don't have something that you can just use. And I'm going to give you some time right now to do that. We're going to do it together. I'm going to use green. It's one of my favorite colors. And I'm going to fold this in half. So again, young children, if you want to do this, have your adult get stuff for you, paper or whatever you need, stapler or tape to help glue papers together as stick papers together. I'm sorry, I said glue. I actually don't want to use glue because it takes so long to dry, but glue is an option, but staple together or tape together. So this is going to be my cover. And I'm going to take, let's see, how many sessions are we doing? Maybe a page or so per. I think I'm going to do 5 sheets of paper because I'll double it over. That gives me 10 pages. So I'll fold these in half. This. And put them in like this. And then just staple. One down here, one up here, and I want to put one in the middle. There. I made a journal. Isn't that nice? Now you should get creative with your journal. You can use markers, crayons, anything you want. You can just use a normal black or blue pen or a pencil. My daughter's using just a standard pencil. I personally like colored pens, so that's what I'll be using. Once you have your journal or have made your journal, and if you haven't finished, it's okay. You can spend some time later, or if, again, you're watching this as a video, not live, then you can pause. But once your journal is ready, you need to put your name on it. So if you can put it on the outside, good. Otherwise, put it on the inside cover. So let's see. I'm going to write Jennifer German. And I'm going to write that this, we're going to label it, is my mission X journal. See? So that's what my looks like right now. For those of you younger kids who don't know how to write yet, don't worry. You can draw pictures instead. In fact, pictures are very important in lab notebooks and journals for scientists, because a lot of times it can be hard to describe just in words. And I will give you an example here. Oh, I almost forgot. Decorate your journal. I want to decorate my journal with stickers. Where are my stickers? There we go. Yes. I'm going to put a NASA sticker on mine. I've got a little astronaut here. Picture that I really like. Here is a little Earth for Earth Day. And I put that on there too. And one of my favorite stickers is a little big, so I'll put it on the back. But you can do, again, decorate however you want. If you want to, you don't have to. Okay. So, as I was saying, pictures, very important to journaling. Because, so look at this picture. What have we got? If I'm trying to describe this in my journal, I would say there are 3 satellite dishes. One is bigger than the other 2, and it's in the middle. Underneath the 3 are 3 flags, and then I would say what countries those are from, and I would say the words on it are Deep Space Network. But I would need to keep going. Like, I haven't mentioned yet these little squiggly lines, which are for the data downloads and uploads. For people who don't know what nations these flags are from, I might have to describe the individual flags. So we've got a flag with the upper left corner is a blue field with 50 white stars on it, and the upper right and the whole bottom half of the flag are striped white and red with 7 red stripes and 6 white stripes. And then I proceed to explain the designs of these other flags also, and you can see, so there's actually, it looks almost like a flag within a flag on this one. It gets pretty complicated. That's a lot of words to write. Or you can just draw the picture, especially if I can use color. It's a whole lot easier. So young children, older children, draw if you want to. Absolutely acceptable. Also, older children, if you are writing, and you need to know how to spell words, a lot of the words that we'll be using in our journals are going to be up there on the screen, so you can just copy how it's spelled there. Teens and adults, I'm expecting you to do both. Journal with words and with pictures. And I'll go back to my example here is why. So if we put this picture in our journal, very easy, right? Don't have to describe it, except these squiggly lines again. This picture doesn't tell us what those actually are. So I would expect that you would also write, and maybe even put arrows or something, but the squiggly lines represent data being downloaded or transmitted, uploaded. Oh, and I would also point out that in my description that I gave you verbally, which I would have written down, I did not state that the satellite dishes were all black and lined up together on the bottom. Just an oversight because I'm looking at it, but someone who's not looking at the picture wouldn't know that's where they were. All examples, why pictures are good, but also why words are needed too. Okay, what else would we actually put in our mission journal? The date. Always put the date. that you are working on in there. Put the time on if you can, don't have to, but it's good practice. Name of the experiment or exercise that we are doing, the steps you took, the procedure, how far, how long things went, how far you went. These are all good things to put in there. Any observations you make. As a scientist, observations are very important, and we don't rely on memory. We have to write it down and put a date on it at least, if not also a time. Any variations you made from what was presented to you or the steps that were given to you, helpful to know for someone later on. And anything else that you think is important. You can write anything you want. It's your journal. Okay, so let's get started. Now, like I said, exercise every day. Very important for an astronaut. Astronauts in outer space actually exercise for 2 hours every day. We're not going to do that. First of all, I don't think I'm in shape enough to do 2 hours of straight exercise at a time. And secondly, we just don't have the time on this broadcast. But it is something we should be working up to as we are training like an astronaut. We do want to get to 2 hours every day if we can. Today, because it's introduction and we're doing other things, I'm actually just going to do a small exercise. So, spacewalk. Let me explain a little bit. When astronauts are up in outer space, on the International Space Station, on a spacecraft, they can perform something called a spacewalk. And that is when they're in that big astronaut suit that we're used to seeing that's usually white with the helmet and the cool visor. Now that suit is very bulky. It's not heavy up there, it's heavy down here. But up in outer space, it's microgravity, and so there just isn't weight. So it's not heavy, but it's very bulky, and it's still hard to move and manipulate in those suits. So during a spacewalk, the astronauts have to be able to move, but they have to have trained to know how to move within that huge, bulky suit. Mission X did give ways to train. Again, one of those ways is in a pool. We can't do that. So the other thing that Mission X provided was that for those of us who don't have access to equipment or things that would help simulate the spacesuit, there are 2 exercises that will work the same muscles in our body that practicing for a spacewalk works. They are called a bear walk, you can see right there, and a crab walk. So we're going to do both of those. Now, Mission X says you're supposed to be able to do them for 40 feet. So we would need 40 feet. I am going to be using this space here behind me for all our exercise, well, most of our exercises. So I need to know how much space I actually have here. Now, I don't know where you're going to exercise in your home, but pick a place, get your tape measure, and let's measure it, okay? And see how much space we have. Amber, will you take this for me, please? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go all the way to that. Yep. And then I will take it this way. And we'll see that I have 15 feet. Okay, 15 feet. Oh, I should mention, for those of you who are watching not within the United States, 40 feet is 12.2 meters. That's what we're trying to get to. So 15 feet is clearly not 40. I'm going to double it. 15 times 2 is 30 feet. Still not 40, but definitely better, definitely closer. So I'm going to actually go from here all the way to that plastic line and then back again to make 30 feet. And I just don't have 40 feet, so I can't do it. Although I did measure my hallway earlier, and it's 27 feet. So I could shorten that up and then do my hallway twice, and that would be 40. The problem there is I can't set up a camera correctly for you to see it all. So I'm stuck with the 30. Although my daughter says that I should do this 3 times. What's 15 times 3? 45 feet. So it would be a little bit longer, and that would be great. Nah, I'm just going to stick with 30 for today. Okay, get your journal. I've got mine, and we are going to write down the date. First thing, write down the date. Okay, And then we're going to write down bear walk, and then leave some space and write down crab walk. And you're leaving some space so you can put some stuff in there. Okay, so I'm going to write down, I'm doing 30 feet for each, right? Okay, and I'm going to hide some because I had a little problem earlier, so we're just going to do like this. So that's what my journal looks like right now. All right, and let's get up and let's do our first exercise, bear walk. Now this is both of these, but this is you're walking on your hands and your feet, not your knees. So I'm going to be starting way back here, get on my hands and feet. Oh, and I feel like I need to stretch, but I'm going to walk like this all the way over here, turn, still on my hands and feet, and walk all the way back. And I'm going to I did it. There. So I can record that. Now, crab walk. Crab walk also hands and feet, but it's the other direction. So your stomach is up instead of down. You got to make sure you get your butt off the floor. When I practiced this before the video, I discovered that I can't actually do this. So I'm going to have my daughter Amber join me to show you how it's done, right? So we're both going to start over here. Hands and feet, butt up. Okay, and let's go. This is definitely harder for me than bear walking, although you can see Amber. So she says it's easy. They do this at...
do it a lot in gym.
Right. Okay, turn around. I'm coming back. I'm not gonna make it. Nope. Okay. Nope. I'm done. Oh well. Amber made it 3 times. All right, can you get the tape measure, please, Amber?
Okay.
So, important. If you don't make what you said you were doing, you need to write that down. So I need to measure how far I actually made it in my crab walk. Now we know from there to there is 15 feet. Let's measure back the other way, please. Okay, also, when measuring, something to note, I'm a long person. Where do I measure to? Do I measure to my hand, to my butt, to my feet? Well, since I measured from the far edge there, which is where my hand started, I should measure to my hand and not to my feet, because that would make it seem like I went further than I actually did. Okay, and we have 6.5 feet. All right, what's 15 plus 6? And while she figures that out. Right, 21. 21.5 feet is what I made. So I am going to write this down in my journal. I only made it 21, and a half, not a fifth. Let me try this again. 21.5 feet. So this actually is where writing with a pencil is more advantageous because I could have erased it. Instead, you'll see I had to cross it out. It's okay, still works. I only made it crab walk 21.5 feet. The bear walk, I made it all 30 feet. Okay. Now take a moment. How do you feel right now after doing your exercise? It's something else you should write down. So, for you younger kids and even older kids, how do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel fine? Do you feel tired? Like me, I feel tired. Okay. For teens and adults, and for older kids if you want, I want you to be more specific in how you feel. For example, my back right muscle feels like it's a little bit strained. So I'm actually going to write that down as part of it. Maybe your arms feel limp or rubbery. Maybe you're out of breath. Any of that, whatever you've got, write it down. So how I feel after these exercises. I feel tired. And my back muscle, trying to spell, on my right side is strained. Okay, so there we go. There's my mission journal entry for exercise for today. Let's move on. Lastly for today, we are going to start science. Excellent. We're going to do a microbial box. Younger kids and older kids, I need you to ask your adult for permission to do this because we are going to be growing microbes. Teens, you probably should ask, or at least let your adult know that this is happening. And adults, you're an adult, make your own decision. Anyways, we're not actually going to talk about microbes very much today because today is setup. We'll talk more about microbes on Science Day, but we're going to get set up today. So you all ask your permission, and then what you need is a box for microbial box. Mission X recommends a shoebox or Tupperware. Technically, this is Rubbermaid. Either one works just fine. The advantage of a box, and it can be a delivery box, it doesn't have to be a shoebox like an Amazon box or something, but anything that closes and then so it is dark inside. That's important. The advantage of the Tupperware is that it seals, which is also very important. So I actually, when I do Tupperware, I have reused containers. This one actually kind of does both because, as you can see, it's not see-through. It's what we call opaque. So this will make it dark inside, at least darker. It's not quite the same as, say, you know, the darkness of the cardboard box, but it's still pretty good. Otherwise, you have clear box. I'm sorry, but if you use the box, then you need to use Ziploc containers, because these are what seal. So large ones, sandwich-sized ones, doesn't quite matter, but that's what you're going to need if you're using a box. If you're using the Tupperware container, they seal, but you're going to want to try and put them in a dark place. Also, you can do multiple. So this is, what are these are, please stop, you're distracting me. Chinese containers, Thai food takeout containers. I also have a very large from just a restaurant. This was a whole meal takeout container. So this would hold, you know, a lot of things. These are options. So go or send your adult to find you some containers, a box, Ziploc bags, whatever you need to put this together. Make sure you've got your permission too. Okay, I'll give you a minute to do that and reset these things here for me. All right, are we ready? Again, if you're watching this later, you can just pause and take the time you need. Otherwise, this video should have been recorded and will be up for you to watch. Go back and see this part to make sure you've got everything. So I'm going to move on. Okay, first into our box is our sweaty sock. So that exercise got my foot sweaty. This is why I was saying if it's a sock that you've been wearing for a few days or that's from yesterday, you can grab out of the laundry and put on for exercises, all the better. The sweatier, the better. So we're going to put our sweaty sock. I'm going to use the box and Ziploc bags. I'm going to put it in my Ziploc bag. And I'm going to put it in my box. There we go. Oh, what? We should label the box so that people who come along later, or even you, know what it is. There we go, microbial box. Okay, next, Mission X recommends cheese. They say blue or Swiss cheese are the best for growing microbes. I don't have either of those, but what I do have I have American cheese and I have cheddar cheese, block cheese, and slices. So whatever you have at home will work. Go run to your fridge, grab a piece of cheese, and we're going to put it in our microbial box. So I'm going to take a slice of the American. Come on. This slice here. And I'm going to put it in a different Ziploc bag. All right? Right in there. Different from your shock. You don't want to mix these things together. It could produce different results and things we probably don't want. Oh, I shouldn't seal it yet. Also, block cheese. I'm going to cut a slice. Young children, have an adult do this for you if you don't have sliced cheese. Older children, either ask permission or have an adult do it for you. Teens, you could probably do it on your own, but anyways, cut a slice. Oops. And you can put it in the same bag as the sliced cheese. And put the cheeses together just to save some space and all. If you're using containers, different containers for cheese and for sock, please. Okay? Thank you. All right. Good and ready to go. Into the box. Pardon me. Okay. What's next? Bread. Oh my gosh. I have lots of bread. I have bread. I have bagels. I have hamburger buns. I even have soft tortilla wraps. So any of these are good. Bread has yeast in it. That's another kind of microbe. Let's go. Grab that. So if you can, again, children, ask permission. Get a slice of bread or whatever type of bread product that you have lying around that your adult will let you use. Put that back here. I'm going to use my large Ziploc for this because I'm going to put one of these large shells in it. Okay. In we go. 1, 2. Again, I'm putting them together with the same type of product, even though they're not exactly the same. If this were a more professional science experiment, we would have to put them each in their own container. But this is good for us. So breads are in one container, cheese is in another container, sock is in its own container. They're all going in the microbial box to stay in the dark. All right. Mission X also talks about antibiotics. We're not going to do that. First of all, that's messy. Second of all, most of us don't have antibiotics just lying around to be used. But there are microbes in antibiotics, and antibiotics are sent up into space with the astronauts, just in case they get sick. Oh, split peas or peanuts or coffee beans. I am not a coffee drinker. There's not a coffee drinker in my house. We don't have coffee beans. And just because you're a coffee drinker doesn't mean you have the beans that you grind on your own. But if you do, supposedly, those are good to use for this. So just grab a little handful. Split peas, also, dried, grab a little handful. For me, I love peanuts. And I know there are people out there who are allergic, so in your case, please do not use peanuts. But I got my peanuts, get a small handful here, just like that. All right, put it in its own bag. Oops, come on, top. Now I'm just spilling some. All right, I put the peanuts in a bag. Okay, and that goes in my box too. Excellent. All right, vinegar is another thing Mission X talks about that we're not going to do because basically it's too messy and, in my opinion, too smelly. So we're not going to deal with that. All right, we got everything in my microbial box. How's yours coming along? Okay, let's see. Once your box is all together, remember to record it in your journal. We need to write down what we did. So, new page. All right, write today's date. If you can, write the time that you put your stuff in the microbial box. It's always good practice. So 4:40 p.m. 50. Yeah, I can tell time. Okay, I'm going to write down microbial box. And again, if you need to know how to spell microbial, it's right there on the slide. All right. What did we put in there? We put a sweaty sock. And young children, if you can't write any of this stuff and you want to do your journal, then just draw pictures. You don't have to write the words. All right, American cheese, I put in. Write down whatever kind of cheese you put in if you did. Teens and adults, I expect you to be more specific, like I said before, so I'm going to write down that I put in 1 slice. Cheddar cheese, also 1 slice. And then we went on to breads, 1 slice. For those of us being specific, older kids you can be specific too, but teens and adults, wheat bread is what I used. 1 soft flour tortilla. How do you spell tortilla? And a small handful of peanuts. All right, we've recorded what's in the microbial box. Another good practice, write down where you put it. My memory is a little shaky sometimes, and I don't forget where I put things. So I'm going to put my box between the couch and the coffee table over there. So I'm going to write that down in my journal also. Oh, okay, important note. If you have pets at home, if you have little humans who go around and get into everything and mess things up, please put your microbial box up high or somewhere where they cannot get to it. You do not want your pets getting into this. Do not want little humans getting into this. Which also reminds me, do not eat anything that we have put in the microbial box. The point of this is to grow microbes, and once food or anything starts growing that stuff, it is no longer safe for you to eat. All right? Okay, I'll say that again on Science Day. So, I am storing my box between the couch and coffee table. All right, there it goes. So I know where it is. That's what my journal looks like. I was telling you people about drawing. I'll show you what Amber, my daughter's journal, looks like. See? She has drawn pictures of everything we put in there. She's got the date on top too. It's a good job. Thank you. And that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this session. I really hope you'll come back for the other ones. Tomorrow is exercise. So please wear something that's a little more loose fitting that you can exercise in and move around in and be okay in. And of course, bring your journal. If you haven't finished it, go ahead and take the time to finish it. And I look forward to continuing this with you. Thanks for watching.